This has been my entrepreneurial journey so far. We'll start this story off in the middle of my high school graduation year. So up till this point, I had been all set on a plan with my parents and my family to go off at the end of this year, go to university, the University of Cape Town, and study IT. Anything in IT would have pleased my family. See, there was this belief that careers in IT are the future of careers in general, and they are the only careers that are safe. It had been me and my family's dream for me to go work in IT, become a software architect, go on to work somewhere in Silicon Valley. And that dream was still on track until I came across one video. I remember the message was that the educational system is priming us all to become employees and not employers. I started thinking about it myself and I came to the same conclusion. They are teaching us to obey orders, to follow a chain of command, which in the grand scheme of things could be a good thing, but my personality was just not one where that suited me. Anyway, so that happens. I go to my dad and I tell him that I've decided I'm going to go work on a cruise ship and figure out what I want to do with my life. I want to start a business. I know that, but I want to figure out what business to start in that year on the cruise ship and also save up money to be able to start that business. After saying that, I had planned to give him a whole speech on why it's a good idea and why it'll work out and how I have considered all of the rest. But he shot me down. He told me that he wasn't interested in hearing more because he wasn't going to support my decision that's going to throw the rest of my life away. And so little did I know, that was the first of many difficult conversations that I would have on this journey becoming an entrepreneur. I ended up going to university at the end of that year and studied at the University of Cape Town. So I packed my bags, hopped on a plane at the beginning of 2022, and I was off. It was exciting at first, but deep down the whole time, I knew that that wasn't what I wanted to do. I was chasing a dream that I had no interest in following. And so I get home after the first semester, it's vacation, and I have a quite serious conversation with my dad. I told him that I had no interest in pursuing a career in IT at all, but that I had already committed to finishing my degree and that's what I was going to do. However, at the end of university, at the end of getting my degree, I planned on starting a business and saving up in the meantime. That didn't end up happening, so I never ended up going back to university because this conversation with my dad didn't go down well. We had many more arguments about it, and I ended up dropping out of university before even starting the second semester of year one. I kind of felt like a failure, but at the same time, I knew that I was pursuing something bigger than what I was going to achieve by going to university, which sounded crazy to anybody that I told it to at the time. Now, when I got back from Cape Town after the first semester of university, I reconnected with an old friend, and when I told him the story that I'm not going back to university, he offered me an internship position at a certain corporation, which I'm not going to name just because can't remember what the privacy policy was that I signed when I signed on as an intern, and I don't want any trouble. I started this internship and my life was sunshine and rainbow. I met a girl who I thought I'd spend the rest of my life with. I got my driver's license. I got a car that had been left to me by my grandmother who passed away. Everything was going quite well. I was making an income, even though it was very small. It was something. And that happiness and that fairy tale life was short-lived. Not because happiness is impossible to achieve, but because on the outside, everything seemed perfect. But deep down, I knew that I was not in alignment with what I wanted to do, and that the actions I was taking now and the life I was living wouldn't get me to where I want to be in 10 years. And I just didn't want to admit that to myself because I'd been given this great opportunity. And I'd been given this great opportunity, but it wasn't what I expected it to be, number one. And number two, I still think it was a great thing that it happened because it taught me what I do want and what I don't want. And I would have never known if I didn't pursue that. I'm glad that I can say I tried that out and it's not for me. Because otherwise there'd always be this little bit of uncertainty. And the problem with uncertainty is when you are in challenging times, that little crack of uncertainty lets through enough doubt to break you. Anyways, back to the story. So the Sunshine and Rainbows life lasted about 5 months. And then a chain of reactions happened which felt very intense in the moment in the span of 1 month. My phone broke. I got into a car accident that left me with a concussion and a written off car. I broke up with that girl that I thought was going to be the person I'd spend the rest of my life with. I terminated my contract with this company that I was interning at. And so the steady internship, which could lead to a future career, the steady relationship, which could lead to my future wife, and the car, which was my way of transport at the time, and then my phone, which was my way of communicating with anyone that's not in person with me, were all, I wouldn't say taken away, but lost in the span of 30 days. After that, I was dealing with quite a vicious combination of emotions. You see, I had heartbreak, the loss of purpose and direction, which I felt like I had. Everything was set up. And it had been the second time in my life that I had everything set up to end up a certain way. And then in one moment, it all changes. So I spent 2 weeks feeling sorry for myself and grieving this life that had passed. But at some point I decided, you know what, I'm going to pull myself back together and I'm going to get my life back on track. I decided that I'm only 19. I'm not going to let my life end before it even begins. So I made a bold decision. I could have went and found a steady job and admitted defeat, but I knew that I had made all of those choices up to now for a reason. And so I had one more Hail Mary and I decided I'm going to take the chance. That's when I decided to pursue McKay's Enterprises full time. I didn't know what the company was going to do. I had no idea of any of that. All I knew was that I was going to make it work. So I started researching ways that I could start a company with no startup capital whatsoever. I come across Iman Gachi's employee arbitrage system where you can start a business, have somebody else fulfill the service for you. All you have to do is focus the whole day on getting clients, and then you can have somebody fulfill the service. You get paid by the client in the beginning of the month. You pay the employee by the end of the month. In that way, you never have to have any startup capital. And I quickly realized that it's not as simple as it seems. Firstly, I had a huge feeling of discomfort at the thought of promising someone that I'll deliver a certain service and not being sure that the person I'm working with can actually deliver that service. So I started learning more. I decided I was going to learn about the service that I'm delivering. At the time, it was copywriting, and then I niched down into brand copy, and then I ended up pivoting into strategic branding. I learned as much as I could about copywriting and brand copy as a whole. And then while I was learning about brand copy, which is essentially the copy that builds a brand, I decided to learn how to build a brand. That's where I stumbled across strategic branding, and in that moment, everything changed. It was the aha moment, the moment where everything made sense. Everything that had happened in my life up to this point had led to that moment. So I was filled with motivation, decided for the next 6 months, I'm not speaking to anybody. I'm locking myself away and I'm working hard, and I'm going to come back a transformed person. I'm in a position now where I've got the skill set, the expertise to be able to start working with clients. The next 10 clients I sign on, or however many it takes, are going to be completely free for me to get the service to a level where I feel that the investment of the price point that I have in mind is well worth the risk of it not working out. The only way I see to do that is to work with so many clients and get water running through the system so that I can actually see what's working, what's not, and get some industry specific knowledge, tailor the service specifically towards my niche in a way that I can present an offer to a client that they'd feel stupid saying no to. I've had someone join McKay's Enterprises, our first employee. He's reaching out tirelessly to performance mindset coaches, letting them know of our offer and booking calls. In no time, we are going to be working with a good few performance mindset coaches, and start testing out the system that we have and perfecting the system that we have. If you look at the fact that it's been 13 months since I started on this journey and I still haven't made the first cent, you might think that that's a long time. In the context of the entrepreneurial journey and the world of business, 13 months is no time at all. We are starting to gain momentum right now. We are starting to gain traction. And I wanted to make this video before the business explodes, so that anybody who's in the position that I'm in right now, or in the position that I was 13 months ago, can see this video and draw inspiration from it and see that nobody starts at the top. It's a journey, it's a struggle. You got to get in the trenches and do the work. I just want to give you at least enough courage to be able to take the leap of faith and get started. Go chase that dream. So a quick run through of the lessons that I've learned. Number one is the most important skill as an entrepreneur is the skill of sales. Now, when I say sales, I'm not talking about hopping on a call and selling something to someone. I'm talking about the conversation with your parents, selling them on the idea of your success and why they should support you with it. I'm talking about the conversation that you are going to have with future employees, selling them on the dream that you have and getting them on board with the mission that you are pursuing. The second thing is perseverance and patience. To reference something that I've seen in a Patrick Bet-David video that stuck with me since I saw it. You've just got to work. No, it's coming. Work, it's coming. Work, until eventually the damn wall breaks and you explode with success. That's it for now. I'll see you guys in next week's video, where I'll walk you through exactly how you can define your ideal client profile and build it out in a way that you get a better understanding of your client than they have of themselves. I'll see you next week. Take care. Cheers.